Hello, very good morning, student. I hope you all are healthy and happy at home. So, today, what did we see yesterday? Yesterday, we saw, or what did we learn yesterday? We learned steric effect and hyperconjugative effect, and today we are going to learn remaining structural effect, two structural effect remaining that we are going to learn today. Means right now let us see, or let us see the fifth one. First one, we have seen structural effect that influence the reactivity of the organic molecule, and now six structural effect, they are as follows. Number one, inductive effect. Number second, resonance effect. Number third one, hyperconjugative effect. Number fourth one, steric effect. So let us revise some of the definition of that inductive, those of structure effect. First one is the inductive effect. What is inductive effect? Definition, you may know that inductive effect means what? The polarization induced in adjacent bond due to the polarization in one bond is called as the inductive effect. Second one is the resonance effect. Definition of the resonance effect, as we know that redistribution of electron operating in unsaturated system via pi bond is known as the resonance effect. And third one is the hyperconjugative effect, and hyperconjugative effect is a nothing but it is a modification of the resonance effect, but there is a slight difference. It is operating via sigma bond, so that is known as a hyperconjugative effect. And fourth one is a steric effect. Steric effect, the interaction between the two atom or group, physical interaction between the two atom and group is known as a steric effect, and that steric effect also playing as an important role in deciding the reactivity of the organic compound, that we already learned that one. Now let us see the fifth one. What is that? Fifth one is a tautomerism. Fifth one is known as a tautomerism. Fifth steric effect is a tautomerism. Tautomerism. Tautomerism, right? Tautomerism. This phenomenon is known as a tautomerism, or tautomerism effect, you can call it tautomerism. Now, what would be the definition, or what is the definition of the tautomerism? When two interconvertible isomer coexist at an equilibrium is known as a tautomerism, and that whatever isomers are formed is called as a tautomers. So that is the simplest example, the simplest definition of the tautomerism. I am repeating again. Listen carefully. Tautomerism means what? When two interconvertible isomer coexist at an equilibrium is known as a tautomerism, and that isomer is known as a tautomers. For example, let us look at as what is tautomerism explained with suitable example. Now I am giving here very simplest example, as we know that. Now here CS3, C double bond O, then CS3, right? Simplest example. Do you know the common name of this compound? I hope more than 50% students know the might be knowing the name of this compound, right? Because you are the coming from the 12th standard. So because our organic chemistry is a very volatile, and when the name of this compound is common name of this compound is acetone. The common name of this compound is acetone, right? ON indicate as acetone. Do you know the IUPAC name of this compound? The IUPAC, again IUPAC is nothing but as the International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. There are the certain rules are there, and by applying that certain rule, you can able to draw, you can able to give the name of that organic compound. Now for naming the organic compound, there are the normally we are using two systems are there. One is called as a common name system, and second one is called as IUPAC. This is the common name of this compound acetone, and according to the IUPAC, first select the longest continuous chain 1, 2, 3, and at 2 position there is a carbonyl groups are present. Now 3 carbon atom in the straight chain, so we can call it as a prop and 2 ONE. Prop 2 ONE, or you can call it the 2 propanone. Propane 2 ONE, propane 2 ONE, or 2 propanone. So that is the IUPAC name of this compound. IUPAC name wise learning that chapter number I think 4, I think 3, 4 and 5. At that time you are going to learn in detail, but let us see here. This is a acetone. Now at an equilibrium, the equilibrium arrow is just shown like this. This is the equilibrium arrow. Now what is happening here? Let me draw the structure here like this. Here CH2 and one of the hydrogen atom I am writing in this way. Now this hydrogen atom moving here, shifting from here to here, we are going to get here CH3, CH, then OH, double bond CH2. Look at this one. Now here two structure at an equilibrium according to as a definition, when two interconvertible, these two structures are interconvertible isomer coexist at an equilibrium is known as a tautomerism. This is a tautomerism. This form is known as a keto form. And as we know that keto form are the major, nearly 93% of this keto form is present, and whereas this is a let me draw the reason that at an equilibrium, so only as a this very small means this is a bigger arrow indicate as a keto form is a major form, and now is a small arrow indicate that there is a this is a enol form. This one is called as a enol form, and enol form present in the 7% only. So this is what we can call it as a tautomerism. This is a suitable example. Now let me tell you another example here. As we know that another example here, let us see CH3, C double bond O, then CH. I am purposely writing that hydrogen atom here, then C double bond O, ET. ET is nothing but as a ethyl group. This ET we can write as a CH3 CH2 ethyl group. This is called as a ethyl group, and in short we are writing as a ET means ethyl group. Now at an equilibrium again, at an equilibrium, what is happening here? At an equilibrium, this hydrogen atom shifting from here to here, and we are going to get here this one CH3, then OH, double bond CH, C double bond O and OET. Now look at here, the oxygen atom and this hydrogen atom, according to as a van der Waals force of attraction, so they are sufficiently close to each other, then there is a special attraction, electrostatic force of attraction is generated, and that is nothing but is called as the intramolecular hydrogen bonding. In the next point we are going to, and therefore due to that intramolecular hydrogen bonding, that molecule becomes as a more stable one, so there is a possibility of this is called as a keto form, this one is called as a keto form, and this one is called as the enol form, right? Keto form and the enol form. The name of this compound is a beta keto ester. It is called as a beta keto ester, or it is known as AAE, or we can call it as a EAA. Means AA means what? Acetoacetic ester, or you can call it as a ethyl acetoacetate. Now if you talk about this percentage, here may be as a reverse, due to the intramolecular hydrogen bonding, that becomes as a enol form is a majority in form, whereas this is in the smaller form. So this is all about the tautomerism. Understood this one? This is a very simplest concept, tautomerism. With these are the two examples are, I think, sufficient to understand the concept of tautomerism. Right, now let us move on to the next one, means final steric effect, that is the sixth one. Sixth one is nothing but as a hydrogen bonding, right? Let me tell you the talk about the hydrogen bonding. Let me clean the board first. Here. Now the last steric effect will be the hydrogen bonding. Hydrogen bonding, right? Hydrogen bonding. As we know that, what do you mean by the hydrogen bonding? Hydrogen bonding is a special kind of dipole attractive forces or dipole interaction, and due to the hydrogen bonding, there is a what we can affect or it influence the reactivity of the certain organic compounds are there, and that's why it is important to study here hydrogen bonding. Definition of the hydrogen bonding: it is a special type of the dipole attractive forces is known as a hydrogen bonding. Now hydrogen bonding, let us see here, hydrogen bonding is nothing but the hydrogen atom must be there. What are the criteria required for the when the hydrogen bondings are occur or possible? There is a one hydrogen bonding means hydrogen atom must be there, right? Now second criteria, if you look at as a long form of the periodic table, there are near about 118 elements are present. Out of that, those are most electronegative element, and their size is nearer or approximately similar to the hydrogen atom. Those atom or the element are capable of forming as a hydrogen bonding. Let us see what are the element. Very few elements are there. One is a fluorine atom, second one is a oxygen atom, third one is a nitrogen atom, sometime is a sulfur atoms are there, but mainly the hydrogen bonding, as we know that hydrogen atom are the electropositive in nature, right? Electropositive in nature, and they are the electronegative in natures are there. Fluorine, oxygen, nitrogen, they are the electronegative atom, and therefore when they are coming sufficiently close to each other, there is a electrostatic force of attraction is generated and they are starting forming the hydrogen bonding. And normally there are the two types of the hydrogen bondings are possible. Number one is called as a intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Intermolecular hydrogen bonding means what? The hydrogen bonding occur between two same atom or maybe different atom. That type of the hydrogen bonding is called as a intermolecular hydrogen bonding. For example, intermolecular hydrogen bonding here, intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Intermolecular hydrogen bonding, let us see as one of the best example is a water molecule. As we know that water molecule can form as a hydrogen bonding with the alcohol, and as we know that alcohol having as a functional group is a OH. Here is a hydrogen atom is a plus delta charge, oxygen has a minus delta charge, electrostatic force of attraction is there, and therefore there are the two different molecules are there. One is a water and one is a alcohol, and that's why it is known as a intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Second one is known as a intramolecular hydrogen bonding. Let us look at as the second one. B is called as a intramolecular hydrogen bonding. Intramolecular hydrogen bonding. Now what do you mean by the intramolecular hydrogen bonding? Intramolecular hydrogen bonding nothing but, listen carefully, intramolecular hydrogen bonding means what? The bonding is occur between hydrogen and the oxygen or fluorine or the nitrogen atom, but that hydrogen bonding must occur within the molecule, that is called as the intramolecular hydrogen bonding. Let us look at as the intramolecular and the how that influence the reactivity of some organic compounds are there. Let us see as the acidity of some organic compound. Let me draw here the structure of you might be knowing as some of the structure of hydroxybenzoic acid. Now I am drawing here some of the compound. Let me clean the board first, and here we are talking about the intramolecular hydrogen bonding, right? Intramolecular hydrogen. Let us look at here one example. This one here, oxygen atom, hydrogen atom, I am drawing here C double bond O and OH, right? Now here what is happened, this hydrogen atom and this oxygen atom, they are coming nearer to each other. This type of the bonding is called as the intramolecular hydrogen bonding. Intramolecular hydrogen bond. This is the what we can call it as a name of this compound is a salicylic acid, orthohydroxybenzoic acid, or we can call it as a salicylic acid. Salicylic acid. Salicylic acid. This is a structure of salicylic acid, not shown here. After the dissociation, you might be knowing pK value. pK value, I think it has 2.98 pK value of this salicylic acid. And after the dissociation, what is going to happen? After the dissociation, we know that it is acid, and after the dissociation, C double bond O minus charge is there, O, and then hydrogen atom. This conjugate base is well stabilized due to the intramolecular hydrogen bonding, and that's why this salicylic acid is stronger as compared to its isomer. Its isomer means what? Here you might be knowing its isomer. Here is a OH, then C double bond O, OH. It is called as a we can draw this structure. Here is at a meta position. Hydroxy groups are there. This is called as a meta hydroxy benzoic acid. Or in a other way, you can write this this simplified way as we always seen in the book. C double bond O, OH, and then OH. This is a meta hydroxy benzoic acid. But both the structure are identical, only I am just putting that hydroxy group at the top, carboxylic group at the top, and hydroxyl group at the meta position. This is called as a meta hydroxy benzoic acid. I think it has a pK value. pK value is a 4.88 something is there. Now again is a another one. This is a COOH. We can write carboxyl group in this way, or you can write this way, and that OH at para position, that is called as a para hydroxy benzoic acid. Got it? This is the para hydroxy benzoic acid. Para hydroxy benzoic acid, or we can call it as a 4-hydroxy benzoic acid, right? And this we can call it as a meta hydroxy benzoic acid, or we can call it as a 3-hydroxy benzoic acid. We can call it as a orthohydroxy benzoic acid, or the common name of this compound is a salicylic acid. And pK value of this, I think, maybe as a pK value is found to be 4. I think this one is a 4.98 and this is 4.88 roughly, right? Now why this the P, and in general you remember, if pK value increases, acidity goes on decreasing, or pK value decreases, acidity goes on increasing. That is one of the general rule you remember while explaining on the basis of pK value. Because after finishing this hydrogen bonding, we are going to talk about the application of those inductive effect, resonance effect, hyperconjugative effect, steric effect. We are going to take into account, and we are going to explain the what we can call it as a applications of those in a next section. But here understood this one. This is the hydrogen. This is all about the hydrogen bonding. Why salicylic acid is a stronger acid as compared to this one? Because after the dissociation, whatever conjugate base is formed, that conjugate base is well stabilized due to the intramolecular hydrogen bonding, and that's why it is affecting as this acidity. I think with this we have learned all the 6 steric effect here with their suitable example, as well as with their necessary condition or rules, whatever. I hope you understood all these steric effect. For better study, you have to refer the textbook of the syllabus which is introduced by the Savitribai Phule University from June 2019, that is a choice based credit system. We adapting here, so for that you can refer the textbook, or some of the reference books are there. Reference book as a Claydon is a very good. Those are the advanced student. Advanced means very talented student. You can refer as a that Claydon book, that is organic chemistry, which is beautifully written by that Claydon or Morrison Boyd. These are the reference books, but some of the textbook, those are the common student, like uh, so they can use one of the there are so many publications are there, like as a Manali publication, Prashant publication, then what we can call it as a Nirali publication. So there are the various publications. So here, whichever all these textbooks are written in a very simplified manner, or what we can call it is a lucid language is used, so that you can understood very well. So you refer that Manali publication as well as Prashant publication, are the Nirali publication, whichever you found. So these are the three textbooks you can refer. I think with this we have completed all these structural effect. Remaining point we will see tomorrow. Let us stop today here. Have a nice day. Thank you.